A legend has awakened. It's here to take its rightful place amongst the best. Presenting the Minix Neo U22-XJ. Witness its power. Stay tuned. The following is a TV Box Top public announcement. On the behalf of the TV Box Top channel, I would like to wish geekbuying.com happy 8th anniversary and great success in the future. And to celebrate this event, Geekbuying is hosting a sales event from the 10th to the 21st of June 2020. Enjoy discounts up to $188 when you subscribe to their online store, and get even bigger deals from the 15th to the 22nd, which is their big anniversary week. Get the Minix Neo U22-XJ at a reduced price during this period with the exclusive TV Box Top coupon. So happy 8th anniversary to Geekbuying, and don't miss out on a chance to grab some great deals. See the link in the description below this video. Welcome back. Minix is one of the few that professionally package their boxes. It's usually well labeled, and it's made of a thick, durable cardboard material that ensures the protection of your products. To the back of the box you have some specifications, and it says that the processor is a 64-bit Hexa Core CPU consisting of a quad-core Cortex A73 plus a dual-core Cortex A53 for a total of 6 cores. The GPU is the Mali G52 MP4 graphics processor. It has 4GB of DDR4 RAM and 32GB of internal storage. The Wi-Fi adapter is an 802.11ac dual-band 2.4 plus 5 GHz Wi-Fi adapter, and it also has Bluetooth 4.1 support. It says here that the operating system is Android 9 Pie. It has an HDMI 2.1 port, an optical audio SPDIF port, an RJ45 Ethernet gigabit LAN port, a USB 3.0 port, and a Type-C port. And it's powered by a 5V 3A DC power adapter. And without further ado, let's see what's inside. So in the box, and here I would usually say you have the usual stuff, but that's not the case. Minix has included some additional stuff adding value to your purchase. First and foremost, you have the U22-XJ TV box itself. You get this IR remote. If you're interested in a wireless air mouse or mini touchpad keyboard, Minix provides their official wireless air mouse with voice command features and a built-in keyboard, sold separately or bundled with your purchase if you so choose. And I'll demonstrate the use of this air mouse during this video, or see the link in the description area. You get one HDMI cable, one USB to Type-C cable, a 5V 3A DC power adapter with US, UK and EU interchangeable plug types. You get an external antenna. And the last item is a user's manual in English, German, Italian and Spanish. Let's look at its design and ports. The upper part of the body is made of plastic with the Minix logo engraved to the top. To the rear of the box, you have one HDMI 2.1 port, one Ethernet gigabit LAN port, one optical audio SPDIF port, a headphone jack, and a DC power input. To the right side of the box, you have 3 USB 3.0 ports, one Type-C OTG port, one micro SDTF card reader, and a power button. On the opposite side, you have the connector for the external antenna, a reset pinhole button, and a Kensington security slot. To the front of the box, you have an IR receiver and a power LED light. And below the box, you have a metal plate, 4 anti-skid rubber feet, and no ventilation holes. What I assume is that the metal plate is part of the heatsink heat dissipation design. So I'll now connect it to my 4K TV and capture card and continue. So I'm all set. And when you start up the box for the first time, you will be greeted with a Minix startup animation for a few seconds. And once that is completed, you are presented with a selection of two launchers, a Minix custom launcher and an Android default launcher. I'll start with a Minix custom launcher, and later in the video I'll show you the alternative launcher. So this is Minix's custom launcher, and it's nothing like we have seen in most models, and that is because Minix is not like most developers. They tend to have most of their stuff professionally customized and optimized to suit their hardware, similar to how Xidu has their ZUI. This launcher, though it may appear similar in design to most launchers, it's quite different. It comes with these large icons as seen in most launchers, but they are actually category icons. And when you click on each icon, it opens up a scrollable custom category where you can add shortcuts to each category, which is like having multiple shortcuts bar. And in addition to this unique feature, you still have your standard shortcuts bar at the bottom. To the right of the launcher, you have a clock widget, and below that you have shortcuts for accessing File Explorer, the Apps section, another subcategory called App Market, and you have an all-task killer for killing apps running in the background and freeing up system resources. And finally, they have included a full-featured navigation bar and pull-down status bar with system controls. If you are an Atmos user, you'll be delighted to know that this launcher is filled with shortcuts. On the navigation bar, they have included a shortcut that takes you directly to the file browser. And there's also a screenshot shortcut. If you navigate to the top edge of the screen where you have these icons, you can actually click on them to access that particular setting. Another thing I notice on most launchers is that when you click the power button on the navigation bar, you usually have to click and hold for the power options to pop up. However, on this navigation bar, it's smooth with a one-click feature. And though this may appear a minimal feature, it's quite a big deal for users that need to restart or shut down their boxes regularly. Features of this firmware include: in the Minix settings, under display, you have 4K display up to 2160p at 60 Hz. You have Dolby Vision settings, HDR settings, screen position settings. I see they have included two new features, which are a headset type switch, which only features the Nokia type at this time, and they have also included a Samba server switch for those who use Samba server settings. You have HDMI CEC options, power key definition options, picture color settings, and audio output options. There are some MCU settings, which is a feature only seen on Minix boxes, and this feature allows you to set the behavior of the box when you plug in the power adapter or when power returns after an outage. You can set it to turn on with the power button, or you can set it to turn on automatically when it receives power. You also have an RTC alarm clock option and a watchdog option. If you head back out to the device preferences section, here you will find the root switch feature, a USB OTG switch feature, a screen rotation feature, and a feature to enable or disable the navigation bar and status bar. Under sound settings, you have your Dolby Atmos and DTS audio digital audio output options. Below that, there's another first-time feature, which is a fake HDMI switch. This is a very cool feature, and what it does is that it hides the HDMI connection from apps that don't allow HDMI outputs, tricking them into thinking that they are running on a mobile phone as they were designed to. And this feature, along with the MCU feature, are powerful features not seen in top brands such as Yugo's B-Link and A95X that has been recorded to have the most features for 2020 thus far. And I will have more to say about this in my closing comments. Before I proceed, when you start the box for the first time, depending on when you bought it, you will notice that some of these features are missing, such as the root switch feature, the navigation bar switch, and the screen rotation feature. But as soon as you connect to the internet, you will be prompted with a firmware update which will add these features. And this is a good sign that the developers of Minix provide updates. If I head over to the apps section, here they have pre-installed the Chrome browser, the Google Play Store. You have wireless updates, a pair of file browsers, Media Center, an official version of Miracast, Movie Player, DRM Info, App Installer, ES File Explorer, Express VPN, which I believe is a bloatware app, and the Kodi Media Player. I'll now install my additional set of apps needed to complete my review and continue. So I'm back, and first and foremost, let's look at its system and hardware information. It shows the manufacturer and model, and the main board is the Galilei. And this bit of information is important for those who develop custom ROMs. It comes with 4GB of DDR4 RAM and 32GB of internal storage, from which this is the remainder after the Android installation and all the apps have installed. The Bluetooth version is 4.1 indicated by the 4 Plus according to the product description. The CPU is the Amlogic S922X-J, which is a combination of two CPUs, a dual-core Cortex-A53 clocked at 1.8 GHz and a quad-core Cortex-A73 clocked at 1.7 GHz for a total of 6 cores with a maximum CPU clock range of 1.8 GHz configured in 32-bit mode. It has support for only 32-bit ABIs, allowing it to only run 32-bit applications. Its display is powered by the Mali G52 MP4, which is a quad-core graphics processor. However, the app doesn't display this information accurately. It records the resolution as 1080p when the box is set to 4K 2160p, and it reads the GPU as having 2 cores when it's actually 4. So moving on. It shows that the refresh rate is 60Hz with OpenGL ES version 3.2, which is good for gaming. It has dual band Wi-Fi support and the 5 GHz band is supported. The operating system is Android 9 Pie and it shows that the box is rooted. The box runs between 40 and 55 degrees under normal room temperature, and this can drop as low as 35 degrees under heavy air conditioning or active cooling, and it can rise as high as 65 degrees under heavy activity such as gaming and 4K video playback, and I will monitor this for overheating during the gaming segment. The box comes with all the encoders and decoders required for the playback of 4K videos with digital audio formats. And that's it for system and hardware information, and I will now move on to the next segment where I show its benchmarks. And to start this segment, I have the results of the RAM copy speed and the internal storage read and write speeds. The Minix Neo U22-XJ has a RAM copy speed of 5,693 MB per second, and the internal storage has a read speed of 142 MB per second and a write speed of 93. These scores are high scores, and it augurs well for this box. Next, I have the results of the Wi-Fi bands and the Ethernet LAN speed test. The results show that the U22-XJ hit the maximum speed of my internet package of 100 megabits per second on both Wi-Fi bands and on the LAN port. And these are the best results you can get from a TV box, and it also means that it has premium onboard Wi-Fi components and a gigabit Ethernet LAN port. Next is the result of the Antutu benchmark. The Minix U22-XJ got an Antutu score of 121,760, and this is also a high score, and in a moment we will see where this score places it on the chart. The next results are the results of the Geekbench 4 CPU benchmark, and in this test the box got a score of 1,249 single core and 3,427 multi-core. These scores are also high scores for this box. The final results are the results of the 3D Mark Gamers Bench GPU benchmark, and in this test, the U22-XJ maxed out on the Ice Storm Extreme test and got a score of 1610 in the Slingshot test. And these scores, together with the previous scores, are really high scores for this box. And let's now see where it places on the chart. So after entering the scores, the Minix Neo U22-XJ is at position number 4 in reference to N22 benchmark scores, placing it among the top 5 TV boxes on my chart for 2020 thus far. This is a great achievement, and it would have done better if the CPU was clocked at 1.9 or 2.0 GHz, and I'll have more to say about this in my closing comments. You can view this chart on my website along with the 2019 chart in full spreadsheet format where you can interact with them and compare various scores. You can also use the provided links which leads to price comparison pages. See the link in the description area below this video. So that brings to an end this segment, and I now move on to the features segment. To start this segment, I'll check the root state of the box and the functionality of the root switch. The app shows that the box is rooted running on Android 9 Pie operating system. And I'll now use the root switch to deactivate the root permissions and see if it deactivates instantly or you have to restart the box. So I'll run the app again. And as you can see, the root switch works instantly and it now shows that the box is not rooted. Next, I show its DRM information. The app shows that the box has Google Widevine Level 1 with no HDCP protection. So even though it has Google Widevine Level 1, it isn't enough to run Netflix and Amazon Prime Video in HD and 4K quality, because it still needs HDCP protection, and in the case of Netflix, it still needs an official ESN certification, and this means that Netflix will only play in basic 480p quality and you will have to sideload it because it's not available on the Google Play Store. At the beginning of this video, I showed you that Minix has included their own alternative launcher. However, you have the option to install your own alternative launcher if you so choose. For this demonstration, I'll use the alternative launcher provided by Minix. So this is the alternative launcher, and it's very similar to the ADW launcher in many ways, featuring long-click menu pop-ups and drag and drop shortcuts. You can even install live wallpapers. I've already demonstrated the built-in screen rotation feature, so there's no need to show that again. And I'll now move on to its casting features. So I will cast my cell phone to the box using a Miracast app that I installed on my cell phone together with the pre-installed Miracast app on the box. So casting the Miracast works okay to mirror your cell phone to the box. However, the box does not have the digital rights or the protection against piracy, so you cannot cast directly from Netflix or the YouTube app. You can play videos from Netflix and YouTube directly on your cell phone, and it will show on the screen through the third-party app while casting, but it will only be in basic quality. During the unboxing, I showed a Minix remote that's not included in your purchase but can be bundled if you so choose. This remote is called the Neo A7 and it's by far one of the best wireless air mouse remotes I've seen. Not only is it innovative in its design and features, but it's tailored to work with all of Minix's features. Let's take a quick look at what it can do. First and foremost, it has an air mouse feature. Next, it has a multitasking button which no other remote has. It has a menu button, a home button, and it has a settings button in the top right corner. It has an apps button that takes you directly to the app section. And it has volume controls and media control buttons. It has voice command features with a built-in microphone. Best wireless air mouse.
Here's a summary from Android PC Review. Best air mouse with keyboard. 1. Minix A2 Lite. 2. Mealy F10 Deluxe. 3. MX3 Multifunction Air.
Well, I guess she haven't heard about the Minix Neo A3 yet. You have your standard direction pad, and to the back of the remote you have a full QWERTY keyboard. You can purchase this remote to work on any TV box, and it can also work on a PC. But when used together with Minix TV boxes, it has full access to all of its features. So if you are interested in this remote, see the link in the description area where you can purchase it separately or bundled with a Minix TV box. Moving on to its streaming features, the Minix Neo U22-XJ, like all TV boxes running the full version of Android, suffers from the lack of DRM support to run premium streaming services in HD and 4K quality. So here I've sideloaded the Netflix app, and in a movie description you can see that there's no HD icon, so this indicates that it plays in basic 480p quality, and the same applies to Amazon Prime Video. The final and most popular source of streaming is the YouTube app. YouTube does not come pre-installed on the box, and you will have to sideload it via APK download or using the Aptoide or APK Pure App Store. Once you install the Android TV version, it will play videos as high as 4K 2160p quality. Before I proceed, I was prompted with yet another firmware update, but this time when I tried to update the box via the wireless updates feature, it failed. So I did it manually using the USB burning tool and flashed the new firmware successfully. This update fixed an issue with the Samba server settings that were missing and relocated it to the device preferences panel. It also fixed an issue where the root switch was returning to its default position each time you restarted the box. So good job again by the Minix team, and they have already announced their intention to release yet another update. I'll now play some 4K video samples in HDR video format.
only a win for Barca would be enough, because it would give them the same number of points as Atletico, but the head-to-head goal difference is what counts in the case of a tie on points. The mosaic of the Camp Nou and the Barcelona hymn being sung as referee Mateo Laoz prizing presence on the bench as well. Atletico playing in yellow, Barca in their traditional red and blue. Barca
The samples played okay without issues and the HDR icon appeared on my TV, but you cannot see it because the TV is behind a capture card, but trust me, it has HDR display output. I'll now test for Dolby Atmos, DTS surround sound audio, THX and Dolby 2 HD.
This is Dolby Atmos, the world's first object-based cinematic audio. With powerful moving audio that transcends from channels to moving around you with pinpoint accuracy. Whether the soundscape sits the mood of a scene, or captures the full extent of nature's fury. Juries, executioners, judges.
Welcome to the inside of your head.
So from this test, I can safely conclude that the Minix Neo U22-XJ supports Dolby Atmos and DTS surround sound audio. However, I did not get Dolby True HD. So this brings to an end the video playback and digital audio segment, and I'll now move on to the final segment where I test the Mali G31 graphics rendering capability and see how it handles some Android games.
Bring it up, squad.
Reloading! Cover me! Enemy contact. Down. Need backup.
What's up, team? Enemy UAV spotted.
Reloading.
So the games played really well. The graphics was of a high quality, keymapping apps worked fine, and I even set the graphics details to the highest level on some of the games, and the temperatures remained stable below 60. In summary, anytime I review a new TV box never featured on this channel, I tend to dig deep into its hardware and be very critical of its features and performance. And what I have to say about Minix and the U22-XJ is nothing short of pure excellence. Very rare do we see developers making an effort to present new features and provide regular firmware updates. They also provide a website and forum so that users can post their concerns about their box and receive the prompt feedback. The features that stood out the most for me in this review were the included alternative launcher, the fake HDMI feature, the custom launcher with the many custom shortcut bars, the extra features on the navigation bar, the instant root switch, the one-click power options from the navigation bar, the maximum download and upload speeds on both Wi-Fi bands and on the LAN port, and the special settings like the MCU settings and the headset type switch that I've never seen before. As for the cons, I could only find two of them. The first one is that it doesn't have the required DRM support for Netflix and Amazon Prime Video to play in HD and 4K quality, and during the digital audio output test, the only format it couldn't produce was Dolby True HD. So I highly recommend the Minix Neo U22-XJ as one of the best legendary TV boxes for 2020 to buy. Their updates and customer service are second to none, and the build of this box is top grade. Their custom remote is one of the best I've seen, and even the infrared remote has some great features. And not to mention the power adapter and the interchangeable plug types to top things off. And with that said, I urge everyone looking for a next level TV box to buy this box. Geekbuying.com is celebrating their 8th anniversary and is offering